Hammond City Council public hearing. Roll call.
Johnny Blunt.
Here.
Jason Hood.
Here.
Bobby Martin.
Here.
Lamar Marshall.
Here.
Mike Williams.
Here.
Public hearings. Number 1, an ordinance to accept the dedication of 15-foot utility servitude for maintenance of water line that serves the Camellia subdivision located on Lot 3 of the Sims Minor subdivision at 1409 South Elm Street, Zone RM-2 and Iowa Addition Overlay, SDF 2014-7-3. Recommended approval by Planning Commission. Josh Taylor.
Water line already runs from Elm to the Camillas that services all the water in the subdivision. This is just a dedication of a servitude to officially dedicate it and protect the water lines.
Questions?
All right, number 2. An ordinance to approve an expanded conditional use request by Carolyn Abram, owner, to allow placement of a mobile home meeting all code requirements on Lot E-1 in Block 2 of Lincoln Park subdivision located at 2909 Garner Street, Zone RS-3, ECU 2014-7-1. Recommended approval with conditions by Zoning Commission, 4-1 vote.
The conditions are that the trailer met the current zoning 10 years or newer. So that was the condition. So.
And it's a brand new trailer, right? So it meets all the conditions.
Correct.
Okay. Number 3. Yes.
Public input.
Yeah.
Because I believe it's here. Did you?
Yes. Yes. Thank you, ma'am.
Excuse me, Josh.
Any public input?
Do you want to say anything?
Okay. In that case, I would like to say something.
Yes.
And this is to speak in favor of this. Ms. Abram had come to the administration early on before she ever bought the trailer. She wanted to know all the rules and regulations and so forth. She met with Josh. She went to planning. She's done everything that has been expected of her. Talked to the councilman. This will be a triple wide mobile home, so it is going to be a fine residence that's going to be moving in there. So I just wanted to put that on the record. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Number 3. An ordinance for final subdivision approval for Pelican Professional Business Park subdivision, lots 1, 2A, and 4 through 11. Acceptance of dedication of Pelican Professional Park, 50-foot right-of-way and cul-de-sac in accordance with final plat by Stanley K. Turner, dated June 27, 2014, and acceptance of dedication of all public utilities in accordance with as-built survey, pages 4 through 9 of 13, by T.C. Spangler, Jr., P.E., dated 1/19/2006, located at 15521 Club Deluxe Road, Zone C-H, SDF 2014-7-1. Recommended approval by Planning Commission.
Bit of house cleaning here. Map was filed prematurely. Didn't have the proper signatures, and with the Club Deluxe Road work going on over there, one of the attorneys involved found it and called us and asked us to address it, so that's what we're doing. Questions? Thank you.
Number 4, An ordinance to amend the public fiscal year 2014 through 2015 to appropriate $16,363 from general fund balance to the auditing and accounting account to comply with the General Accounting Standard Board. Larry Francis.
Yes, sir. Good evening. This, again, we come to ask the council to amend the budget to secure a module that will provide the accounting audit report writing system that we need as a for GASB pronouncement. It's going to be about $16,363.
Any question from the public? Okay. Number 5. An ordinance declaring the immovable property at the old water tank site on Conrad Anderson Drive as surplus and not needed for a public purpose and providing for the sale and related matters. Mayor Foster.
Thank you very much. If the council would look in their book, it's actually under final adoption of ordinance, old business. It's actually the first thing that's in your book there. The city has a parcel of land that's 100 feet by 150 feet that's located in the industrial park. There was a water tank site there that they were using for a fire suppression system that has been out of use for quite a while. We have been approached by a group or an individual that's interested in purchasing this particular piece of property, and we have explained to him that we will come to the council, ask that it be declared as surplus. If the council so chooses to declare this parcel of property as surplus, we will put it out for public bid. We'll have it appraised, put it out for public bid, the same as we did for the airport property that we had. Gary Knight has looked at this piece of property. He has no use for it. He has no use for the water tank. And what we will do is when we do put it out for sale, we will insist that the water tank and all of the equipment be removed at the cost of the purchaser. Be glad to answer any questions.
Just one question, Mr. Mayor. So the current zoning will obviously be the same. There's not going to be any requirements for zoning changes or anything?
That is correct, sir. I believe it's light industrial.
Okay.
Any questions from the public? Okay, thank you. We will now go into our regular session. Call to order.
Johnny Blunt.
Here.
Jason Hood.
Here.
Rodney Martin.
Here.
Lamar Marshall.
Here.
Mike Williams.
Here.
Okay, stand for prayer.
Almighty God, our Father, our Creator, the author of all life, we thank you for the gift of this day. We thank you for all the good things we give us, for the good community in which we live, this Hammond, America. And we ask that you tonight bless those who give of their time and talent to lead our city. Under the guidance of the Holy Spirit, they make the right decisions that will help to improve and better the lives of all of the citizens of our community. We thank you for the gift of this day, for the food you provide us, for the care that you give us, for all those who serve as firemen, policemen, medical help, all those who enhance and make our lives better. We thank you for the gift of this great nation of ours. During a time of much turmoil throughout the world, we still harbor a great society here in these United States of America. This is a gift from you, and to you we return all the credit. We thank you for those men and women who have long defended our country, and we pray that you continue to bless them and to bring them home safely. We pray for peace in a world torn by anything but peace. And we hope that in our lifetime we will come to know peace in our hearts, our homes, our city, our state, our nation, and above all in the world. We pray for these things in the name of the one who saves us. Amen.
Amen. And we will be having our Pledge of Allegiance by Tristan Ellis Robertson, a kindergartner from Woodland Park Elementary School. Okay, right there. You can stop right there, son. Let's see. Come up.
Take the flag. Come on.
Up.
Great job.
Thank you very much. Boy, you look sharp. Okay? Now, you keep this, hang it up in your room, okay? You can show your teacher and all your classmates of the wonderful things that you've done. And thank you, Mother. Okay. Are there any reports from the council?
Councilman, Mr. President, Pastor Lonnie Smith, I know he's in the audience, and he wants to address the council. I know you approved that earlier, so
Yes.
this time, can you ask him to come up?
Yes.
Yes, my name is Lonnie Smith. I stay at 200 Dixie Drive, and we have a real bad problem. And the problem really began when they began the project of the Chanel Shopping Center 2. And I talked with the contractors. I talked with Mr. Buddy Ridgel, and I explained to them that it was going to be a problem. When they build up the grounding over there 3 feet above where it was, that the water was going to drain on my property. And they said there was going to be no problem. Now, I do that kind of work for the parish. I put in culverts, and I explained to them that it was going to work, it was going to happen. They said it's no problem. But now, since then, I've had floodings in my home, and as a matter of fact, twice. I've had 12 inches of water in my house one time, 8 inches of water in there the second time. I explained to them, I've called the city, I've talked with the city. They said, oh, that's just nature. Nature doesn't happen when you throw water on people. And I talked with the councilman. He come out, he taken a look at it. I've talked with others, and it took a while, but some of the others come out. I talked with lately, I talked with Mr. Robert. He come out, taking a look at it. I've told them I'm getting tired of it. And just finally, they told me what they were going to do. Now, they told me that some of these things just happen. It's just whenever it rains, these things happen. But when they put the drainage in, these things began plugging up. And when you plug up and it's on the other side of the fence, I can't run on the other side of the fence and start moving debris out of the drain and stay up half the night. The water drains in, comes through, goes under the fence, plug the drain up, start filling up my yard, and then the water comes down the street, comes in, fills up, coming in from every angle. I'm the last house on the end, and it drains direct to me. And when I call the city don't come out. They just brushes me off as if I'm nobody. I call them again. I tell them, And then, again, they hooked the sewer, the commercial and residential is hooked in the same thing. And so every time the bowling alley dumps their grease, they plugs up the sewer and it backs into our home. I calls them and tells them, well, we know the problem. It goes over to the bowling alley, cleans it out, then we were able to flush the toilets. I told them I'm getting tired of it. If they're not going to do anything, I've gotten 4 doors in my home that I have to replace now because they have messed my doors up. My floor, I have to replace all of the tiling on my floor. I pull up all of the stuff on my floor because they just messed it all up. I told them, I called the city, and I told them, if you don't want to do anything about it, that's fine with me. I'll go to a place, get a lawyer that's hungry. I go to Detroit. And if, believe me, I'm not going to play. Because I'm trying to work with everyone. But if don't no one want to work with me, that's fine. I'll find someone that will work. Because my wife, she's getting tired. Every time we have to go out, I got to stand in the rain to clean out the drains. And I asked the city, you go talk with someone, clean these drains out, let the water, if the water is going out, we won't get the flooding. When they tell me about it's going to run, if the canals is full, I understand that. I'm not a fool. But if the water is going out, it's not going to stay there and flood over. That's water be gone. And if they would listen to what someone is saying, because when you got people that may be over a drainage and telling someone what to do, that's fine. But get out there and do it. If you're doing it, you know what happens. You understand what's going on. I put in drains. I don't just tell someone what to do, I do it. So I know how it's operated. I don't need a laser to put one in. I can look at it and tell what is right and what's wrong. And so I explain to them what's going on. Someone can at least get off their lazy self and come out there and look. If you're sitting in the office and say that's nature, then get off yourself and come out there and show yourself. And let me see that you know it's nature. Then I can understand it. But see, it's hard when you're losing. I told them about the tree. I got a tree just missed my home. Just missed my home. It's laying down in my backyard right now from this last little storm. I told them, I said, when you cut your main vein off the tree, they cut it going across, and when they cut it, they cut the root. Tree died. When it killed the tree, I said, the tree is going to fall. It fell. I said, I'm praying that if the wind blow, it's coming out of the south and not out the east. Because if it come out of the east, it's going to fall on my house. I already had one tree fell, just missed my wife and I. It hit the house. My insurance paid for it, we got it fixed. But I'm tired of all these things happening. All because of negligence of someone that could have avoided. The planning committee can look at something differently. When someone tells you something, look at it. find out what you can do. If something has to be changed, change it. You don't have to keep on doing it just to say, well, this is money coming into the city. I told them, I said, if there's money coming into the city, then buy my property and get it out of the way so you won't be stepping on my foot. You don't have to step on my foot to do what you're doing because you're hurting me and my family. And they just...
Mr. Lonnie, in your opinion, what needs to be done in order to prevent this?
Well, they've already done the damage. And then they had a 24 by 24 drain in. It's on the opposite side of the fence. Well, in order for me to keep debris out of it, I got to go on the other side of the fence.
Okay.
All right, then they changed the 24 by 24, put a 12 by 12, which grass would stop up on the other side of the fence. And when they put that in, that was worse.
Mr. President, let me, if I can, just kind of add to the conversation. And I think Josh just met with Robert a couple of, maybe last week on the same issue. And Josh, I'll let you speak to that, but I can tell you even before, I think this project started back in 2010, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's when that shopping center was redeveloped, if I'm not mistaken. Because I remember when we first had the initial issue, Pastor Smith, myself, and Nash met along with the developer of the property, and they made the decision at that point that there was an option to either do work on his side of the fence or on the commercial property. And the developer made the decision to put another catch basin on their side to catch the water that was going towards Mrs. Smith's house. And that was initially an agreed upon solution. Am I saying that right? That was initially, now, whether it was going to work or not was one issue, but it wasn't an agreed upon solution. So we did get involved, got that piece done, and then we moved on. And then that issue obviously didn't solve the problem. And so just recently, I think Robert and Josh met with the developer, and you might want to update the council on that discussion that y'all had. And I think Robert just visited with Mr. Smith maybe last Tuesday to give him another solution, which I think he did. Robert did identify some errors that the contractor made, and those adjustments are being made, and I think they're going to add some additional stuff based on what Mr. Smith.
Now, when we talked, we asked them to put the catch basin on my side. They talked about it at first, and then they changed.
Right. Because their decision was that they were not going to do any work outside of their property, and they thought that, and it was initially agreed, or at least assumed, that the catch basin work that they did on their property would solve the problem. Evidently, that didn't work.
Because they didn't put it on my side.
Right, so.
They didn't put it on my side, so it was hard for me to maintain something that's on their side of the fence.
So once you let's have Josh, if you don't mind, would you update the council on your guys' conversation you had with the developer and what the solution was? And Robert, do you know what Robert decided?
It ultimately was about that piece there was somewhere around 1.5 acres total. That was all flowing towards Mr. Smith's property. Actually, when they built it up, they have banked it to where everything flows completely away from his property.
Right.
And we checked all the elevations. Everything is flowing away from his property.
Right.
What was there was it was a 24-inch grate. It was an 8-inch pipe carrying the water out. We do agree that the reduction in the grate size did cause some blockages, and so the contractors agreed to enlarge it again, put it back at 24 by 24 and make it a larger catch basin, which should be, because it's taking on less water, should be adequate as to what was there previously.
And to put a drain on a pipe on his side.
He's not going to put it on his pipe. He's going to stub out
right.
of the catch basin and cap it. And
right.
If Mr. Smith wants to put something there extra, that's fine, but we are enlarging the grate to where it won't get blocked up.
Right. Okay. Now, along with that, this has been an ongoing issue in that particular area. And initially, there was a conversation that the big sewer rehabilitation project that's going on in the city, that by plugging up the holes or the mere faucet, and this is something that we've kind of, at least the impression I got was this project was going to improve the flow of water because we were getting this overrun of water into the system, and that this would prevent some of the backup that we experienced throughout the city.
Well, hopefully, it would prevent, once the whole project is completed, it would prevent what's called I&I, water intrusion into the sewer system.
Right.
Chuck is here. He may know how much is flowing into that system and when that would be rehabilitated, or if it's even in the area. Is Chuck still here?
Yeah, he's here. And then the whole thing was that would
Kylie's
allow,
here, I see.
with less water going into the system, it would reduce or even eliminate, I don't want to say that if that's not true, some of the backup in the system.
When there is not any rain, we have residential and commercial on the same drainage for the sewer. And that's causing the problem, because when you got the bowling alley and then you got the whole Chanel Center and all of that draining, all in the same drain, and you got all these different stores now, and they build up all these fast foods. And when all of this stuff is all put into the same drain, it's plugging up. And when it's plugging up, it's draining right back, right into the residential. It wasn't doing that at first, but now it's doing it. And when it's backing up into the resident,
You guys are dealing with it.
we have to deal with it.
Right.
And we shouldn't have to deal with that. But now we're dealing with it. And when you tell someone, you call the city would tell us, we'll do the best we can. Well, you're doing the best you can. It happened on Friday night, and it's Monday before they're able to ride it out. So you got Friday night, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday evening before they get that all rotted out.
Just for information, Mayor, I probably in the last maybe 6 months receive a call once a month, and typically I call Gary, and then Gary would do exactly what Mr. Smith just said. He would go out there and at some point over the weekend, but it's still, and the only thing that I've ever been told that I'm banking on is that this new I&I, or this rehabilitation project, is going to help reduce some of the problem, because it's going to reduce some of the rain water into the system.
Councilman, the I&I project will in no way help a grease back up. This is the first time I've heard of this. First time I heard about this issue was when Whitney told me that it was going to be on the agenda this afternoon. So, you know, what I will do is I will get with Gary Knight, because I just find it hard to believe that if you call on Friday, they wait until Monday to come.
No, they're out there.
Because they come, they're pretty fast. I see Buddy Ridgeville, Public Works Director. I see Josh. We'll get together first thing in the morning and talk about
I'm
this.
telling you what I know.
And I understand what you're saying, Mr. Smith. I've known you for a long time. So we'll get out there, we'll take a look at it, and we'll see what we can do.
Well,
we can talk about it here all night long. But the I&I, Councilman, will not, the sewer issue will not be solved with the I&I project.
Well, I'm saying,
it's a grease buildup. We have to check the grease traps and so forth. Yes, sir.
Mayor, as a pastor, I'm not just saying something just to be saying it.
I understand.
I'm gone quite a bit. And when I get back home and my wife calls me and tells me about the problem, I ask her, have you called the city? She tells me I called the city. Now, I'm a working pastor. I worked and I'm also gone. But when I get back home and then there's a problem, and then she tells me she called. Now, just because it's a woman that calls, they runs into that problem. Now, when a man calls, I calls and I demand. I demand it. But when my wife calls, they tells her, we'll be there. Now, they cut that grass right in. And when they cut that grass, that was because Mr. Robert come out. He come out and he looked at it. He says, okay, we're going to cut this. Because he was talking with me. My wife called 6 times and they never even come out. They never even showed up.
Ask her to call my office, please, sir.
Mr. Smith, Pastor Smith, now that the mayor is aware of this concern, I'm quite sure he will take it from here and let's see what happens. Okay.
Well, I'm hoping that we don't just see what happens. I'm hoping that we do something about it.
Well, that's included. We'll see what's happening. Okay. Any other council? Well, I want to share with the audience, there's a free workshop about property succession, how to protect your rights when inheriting property. This will be held Thursday, September the 11th, from 6 to 7 p.m. at the Tangible African American Heritage Museum, 1600 Phoenix Square. And they're going to have some very interesting topics that we all need to be knowledgeable of. And it's sponsored by the Gulf Coast Center for Law and Policy and the City of Hammond. So we appreciate it if you can share this information, okay? Thank you. Anything else? Okay, Mayor.
Thank you. Mr. President, to the council, we did get a sales tax report this afternoon. The sales tax collections were up from the previous year, about 7.34%. That having been said, they still did not meet budget projection, but that was expected. So we are about $56,000 behind budget for the 2015 fiscal year. We do have a cleanup day. The Keep Hammond Beautiful Committee, chaired by Mr. Vic Cuvion, is going to have a cleanup day on September 19th, 8 o'clock. We'll meet here at City Hall. We'll provide kolaches and donuts and drinks. We got a really good report from the Property Insurance Association of Louisiana. The fire chief is here, so I'm happy to report that the City of Hammond will maintain its Class 2 rating, which is one of the best ratings in the state of Louisiana. I think Chief Baton Rouge is a 1, and I think they're the only one rated, if I'm not mistaken. So we're really proud to be able to keep that Class 2 rating. Thank you, Chief. That's my report. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mayor. Are there any new businesses in the city? No, please come forward.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, I'm the owner of a little bit of This and That. We're located at East Thomas. I'm new to the area too. I've only been here 3 weeks and our business has been open for 2 weeks. So I'm really new. I really like Hammond. It seems like a really interesting place. We sell everything from herbs, I'm a herbalist, to vintage, antiques, new age metaphysical. And another thing we're bringing to Hammond is y'all are going to have a haunted house this year, and all proceeds go to charity. We have 4 charities we picked out, and it's called the House of Tormented Souls. It's going to be in October, and we're really excited to help out Hammond. So,
Well, welcome.
thank you.
Please give us your name, ma'am.
Star, S-T-A-R-R. Do you need my last name too? M-U-R-O. And Brandy Nazareth is also a partner of mine. So you guys got to come out and check us out, okay?
Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you, man.
Approval of minutes.
Second.
Johnny Blunt. Jason Hood. Bobby Martin.
Aye.
Lamar Marshall.
Aye.
Mike Williams. Motion approved.
Old business, none. New business. Number 1, a resolution to approve Kim's Restaurant located at 1819 Southwest Railroad Avenue to obtain a permit to sell high-low alcohol on premises. The owner of the business is Holiday Inn Hammond, LLC. Jenny Wilson.
Mr. President, Jenny is not here, but she has asked me to present this tonight. Jenny has said that all of the zoning meets requirements, all of the inspections have been done, everything is complete, so she felt pretty confident in leaving this in my hands since everything had been done. She did say that John Vila will be here tonight, and he is here, thank you. Come on up, please, sir, if you wouldn't mind. And I know that, Mr. President, I believe you'd like to...
Yes. Okay.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. And did we get his name?
Name and address for us. My name is John Vela. I live at 2326 Buck Allen Lane, Waco, Texas.
Texas. Okay. Well, sir, when we provide these permits to sell high and low alcohol on the premises, we'd just like for you to be aware of selling alcohol to minors. Okay. I'm quite sure you're familiar.
Yes, sir, we sure are. And the company that I work for, they hold other permits throughout 3 different states, and we are very familiar with the laws. And in fact, we're going to keep pretty much all the employees that are there now will stay. They are bringing in a new general manager, but the general manager now, Brandon Fowler, he will be the assistant general manager, so not very many changes at the motel for the people that work there now. And they are trained. The 3 bartenders that work there are trained, and we feel like we're going to just continue to do a good job.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, sir.
That it?
Motion to approve.
Johnny Blunt. Jason Hood. Bobby Martin.
Aye.
Lamar Marshall.
Aye.
Mike Williams. Motion approved.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you, sir. Welcome to Hannah.
Number 2, a resolution to approve the appointment of Lacey Landrum as Director of Administration for the City of Hammond with an annual salary of $65,000. Mayor Foster.
The council and the public is aware that Pete Pinapinto has resigned as Director of Administration. He is running for public office. The position of Director of Administration is mandated, but just because it's mandated doesn't mean that I would not have done this anyway. It's a great honor for me to appoint Lacey Landrum as Director of Administration if the council would see to concur with this appointment. You all have had a chance to work with Lacey over the last several years. You know the great job that she does, and I anticipate that she will continue to do a great job at least for the next 4 months. So I put that before the council for their consideration and approval. Dr. Landrum is in the office if anybody would like to ask her any questions. Why don't you just stand so everybody can see who you are?
Stand up. Are you standing?
Yes.
I'm even wearing my tall shoes.
All right. Congratulations. Motion to approve. Second.
Johnny Blunt. Jason Hood. Bobby Martin.
Aye.
Lamar Marshall.
Aye.
Mike Williams. Motion approved.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Lacey.
Dr. Director.
You want to come join us up here?
Where will the office be? Will it still be in the same location?
Actually, she'll maintain both offices. We had a chat about that, and her primary, the majority of time will be spent overseeing what she's doing now, with the backup to the office over here. So I believe you're going to maintain both of those offices.
That's correct. That's correct.
You want to join us at the table?
Well, actually, I'm next on the agenda. So I'll wait. And
Okay.
And then it, yeah. and
You're the
then I'll-
director, so you can decide what you want.
Dr. Director.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
For doing an
Thank you.
excellent job. Yes. Any other questions? Have we voted?
Yes.
Yeah, we've already voted.
Number 3.
She said.
There's no takebacks. No takebacks.
Okay, all right. Oh, you're next. Number three. Number 3, a resolution, 1, authorizing the mayor to enter into a contract with the Louisiana Department of Culture, Recreation, and Tourism for a land and water conservation fund project to improve Z. Murray Park. Number 2, agreeing to match the $250,000 grant award with $250,000 from the grant match fund. And 3, authorizing the mayor to sign all grant-related documents. Lacey.
This item originally came to council on March 19th last year when we submitted the grant application. So the $250,000 is actually just rolled over into the grant match fund and has been sitting, waiting in hopes that this project would be approved. Are there any questions? I know we talked briefly about this at the last meeting. These aren't, this is phase 2 of development at Z. Murray Park and includes both includes the installation of a toddler playground, a splash park, a pond aeration system, a fishing station, and 2 picnic pavilions. We're going to expand 2 of the picnic pavilions.
Okay. Any questions?
It's not a question, but just a comment while we're talking about Z. Murray Park. And
Sure.
this might also be for the mayor. Just a couple of times I've talked to people who are using the park, and they've asked for us to see if we can install another water source, because I think that there's only one place where you can actually use like a water fountain, because there's only one place in the park, so it's like high priority to get there. And maybe we can add maybe 1 or 2 more out there. I just thought about that while we were talking.
We could probably work it into this project.
Right.
We might be able to do that around those 2 picnic pavilions that
Yeah,
we're
that'd be
expanding
great.
into family style.
Right, because that way it'll make it more accessible for
One
more
we had is
people.
over by the playground.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
can
it's
we
there to
add
clean
that?
off the
Can we
playground.
add that into that plan?
We will absolutely look at that and see where the water lines are running and see how we can maybe work that out.
All right, sounds good, thanks.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Johnny Blunt.
Aye.
Jason Hood.
Aye.
Bobby Martin.
Aye.
Lamar Marshall.
Aye.
Mike Williams.
Aye.
Motion approved.
Thank you.
Thank you. Number 4, a resolution authorizing the Restoration House Family Night with the Great Pumpkin Committee, a waiver of the City of Hammond open container law for October 31st, 2014, within the boundaries of the Casa de Fresca Parking Mall and West Charles Street between Northwest Railroad Avenue to the railroad tracks from the hours of 4 p.m. to 10 p.m. Jan?
Hey, good evening,
Hi.
council. Thank you so much. Again, we'd like to have this benefit for the Restoration House. Last year, we actually got rained out, so this will be our second attempt. And we're very happy to expand it, hoping to do more for the children. And we'd appreciate you allowing us to have the open container so that we can actually save money by not having to go through all the process of packaging these, and to have a comfortable atmosphere for the adults who bring the children.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Johnny Blunt.
Aye.
Jason Hood.
Aye.
Bobby Martin.
Aye.
Lamar Marshall.
Aye.
Mike Williams. Motion approved.
Thank you, Jan. Number 5, a resolution authorizing La Carrera Mexican Cuisine a waiver of the City of Hammond open container law for their 17th anniversary party within the boundaries of West Charles Street between Southwest Railroad Avenue and the railroad tracks, and half of the Casa de Fresca Parking Mall on September the 18th, 2014, from 6 p.m. until 10 p.m. Nicole?
I'm Nicole Anthony. I'm with La Coretta, and we are applying for the open container for our 17th anniversary.
Motion to approve.
Johnny Blunt. Jason Hood. Bobby Martin. Lamar Marshall.
Aye.
Mike Williams. Motion approved.
Thank you. All right. Number 6, a resolution to authorize the mayor to enter into an agreement with the state of Louisiana, DOTD, for upgrade runway 36 PAPI-4 system to LED, project number H011430, not to exceed $21,500. Jason.
I'm very excited about this this grant. This is a test project that the state is doing, and it's extremely hard to get. Once the NAVAID specialist for the state, Mr. Alan Taylor, is very picky about where and what he does at certain airports, and after speaking with him numerous times, we've had a problem in PAPI's PAPI, Precision Approach Path Indicator. It's a precision approach landing system for the runway. We've had a problem with one system on our runway 36 and just constantly being out. My guys and I have tried to repair it numerous times and it still fails. So I talked with him and I begged him. I said, please let us be one of the test sites. I just need one. I don't need all of them. Just give us one. And I said, I promise you I'll be the best test site you ever see, because I'll tell you exactly what it does, what it looks like every day. I'll keep accurate records. And he agreed. So I think my pestering him paid off. So this is a project to replace the PAPIs with LEDs. It's a new technology for the PAPIs. They're in other lighting systems, but not the PAPIs yet. So it's a big thing for us. I was excited about this one. Any questions?
So this is a grant?
This is a grant. No,
and it's
right.
no match?
Right. We'll buy everything, put it in, and they'll reimburse the amount that it costs, not to exceed $21,000.
Make a motion to approve. Second.
Johnny Blunt. Jason Hood. Bobby Martin. Lamar Marshall. Mike Williams. Motion approved.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jason. Final adoption of ordinance. Old business, number 1. Final adoption of an ordinance declaring the immovable property at the old water tank site on Conrad Anderson Drive as surplus and not needed for a public purpose, and providing for the sale and related matters.
So second.
Johnny Blunt. Jason Hood. Bobby Martin. Lamar Marshall. Mike Williams. Motion approved.
New business. Number 1, final adoption of an ordinance to accept the dedication of 15-foot utility servitude for maintenance of water line that serves the Camellia subdivision located on Lot 3 of the Sims Minor subdivision at 1409 South Elm Street, Zone RM-2 and Iowa Addition Overlay, SDF 2014-7-3. Recommended approval by Planning Commission.
Motion to approve.
Johnny Blunt. Jason Hood. Bobby Martin. Lamar Marshall. Mike Williams. Motion approved.
Number 2, final adoption of an ordinance to approve an expanded conditional use request by Carolyn Abram, owner, to allow placement of a mobile home meeting all code requirements on Lot E-1 in Block 2 of Lincoln Park subdivision located at 2909 Garner Street, Zone RS-3, ECU 2014-7-1. Recommended approval with conditions by Zoning Commission.
Motion to approve.
Johnny Blunt.
Aye.
Jason Hood.
Aye.
Bobby Martin.
Aye.
Lamar Marshall.
Aye.
Mike Williams.
Aye.
Motion approved.
Number 3, final adoptions of an ordinance for final subdivision approval for Pelican Professional Business Park subdivision, lots 1, 2A, and 4 through 11. Acceptance of dedication of Pelican Professional Park, 50-foot right-of-way and cul-de-sac, in accordance with final plat by Stanley K. Turner, dated June 27, 2014, and acceptance of dedication of all public utilities in accordance with as-built survey, pages 4 through 9 of 13 by T.C. Spangler Jr., P.E., dated 1/19/2006, located at 15521 Club Deluxe Road, Zone C-H, SDF 2014-7-1. Recommended approval by Planning Commission.
Motion to approve.
Johnny Blunt.
Aye.
Jason Hood.
Aye.
Bobby Martin.
Aye.
Lamar Marshall.
Aye.
Mike Williams.
Aye.
Motion approved.
Number 4, final adoption of an ordinance to amend the budget fiscal year 2014 to 2015 to appropriate $16,363 from general fund balance to the auditing and accounting account to comply with the General Accounting Standard Board.
So moved.
Second.
Johnny Blunt.
Aye.
Jason Hood.
Aye.
Bobby Martin.
Aye.
Lamar Marshall.
Aye.
Mike Williams.
Aye.
Motion approved.
Introduction of ordinance and set of public hearing. Number 1, introduction of an ordinance to amend the budget for the fiscal year 2014-2015 to defund the position of jail supervisor.
Me?
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. President. We're going through several of the departments. We're trying to eliminate as much bureaucracy as possible. And looking at the jail hierarchy, we have determined that there is a lieutenant that's currently overseeing the jail, and there are several other jailers that are included. We believe that the elimination of the position of jail supervisor and making an actual jailer position is much more efficient. If the council would so choose to introduce this, we'll discuss it in much more detail at the public hearing.
Motion to introduce.
Second.
Johnny Blunt.
Aye.
Jason Hood.
Aye.
Bobby Martin.
Aye.
Lamar Marshall.
Aye.
Mike Williams.
Aye.
Motion approved. Public hearing is set for September 16, 2014.
Number 2, introduction of an ordinance to accept the following streets into the street system of the city of Hammond. L. Idle Street Extension, formerly known as Pete Nicolosi Drive, Tammy Drive, east of L. Idle Street Extension, Tina Drive, east of L. Idle Street Extension. John.
This is a part of Pine Hill Forest subdivision, which is a subdivision west of I-50, between I-55 and Crappenzano Brothers, south of Highway 190. As you know, we're doing a sewer rehabilitation. We put water fire lines in there, and we've been kind of little by little doing some things. Well, this is kind of the last piece of the puzzle. The streets in the very back, probably the back 1/3 of the subdivision, were originally brought in as private. But however, we did accept Westwood Village Phase 2 as a city subdivision. The rest was done when it was in the parish. We've inspected the lab reports. Josh and I have looked it over. And they do meet our standards. There's no cul-de-sac, but they meet our standards as far as construction goes. You know, we can't do anything about the geometry. The lots have been cut. We're kind of stuck with that. The only thing is, I know there's some question about the name. 911 requires us to make that street one name. We can't have Alida and then Pete Nicolosi, and I understand it may all need to be some name other than Alida Street Extension. So that's not really important. What I'm really trying to get to start the ball rolling on the acceptance, because when we, as you know, when we acquire right-of-ways, we have to do it by ordinance. So that's what this is all about.
And what I'm going to try to do, Mr. President and the council, is between now and the introduction, we'll have that discussion in the subdivision, and you know, we're excited to have the 3 streets come into the city. That's going to be good for that whole subdivision. So between now and then, I would have had the discussion with the neighbors, especially on Alida and Pete Nicolosi, and then decide. I'll make a recommendation to the council of what we do, and the mayor and I have already talked.
I hope you can do that fairly soon so we publish it properly, because I don't want to publish one name and then we enter.
Actually, I was out there last weekend, but I just couldn't get in touch with Mr. Nicolosi. And the mayor and I talked about it, and so I want to make sure that we have that conversation. So
I just want to make sure we publish the notice properly.
I'll get it done.
And don't name it something else after everybody thinks there's one name coming.
Right.
And I don't want to give it another name.
Okay.
Motion introduced.
Second. Johnny Blunt.
Aye.
Jason Hood.
Aye.
Bobby Martin.
Aye.
Lamar Marshall.
Aye.
Mike Williams.
Aye.
Motion approved. Public hearing is set for September 16th, 2014.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you for coming.